To sum it up, make sure you have a life separate from your spouse
But
and your
not
family.
too much
but
of a
not
life.
You're listening to the Laughing Couple podcast with your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy. Join them weekly as they discuss topics such as relationships, kids, sex, parenting, all unfiltered and all with a healthy dose of laughter. Please welcome your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy.
All right. What's happening?
Look at us. We look in this screen. We look very pinky Tescadero.
What do you mean?
Well, you look like you're wearing pink. You're not.
It's orange.
And I'm wearing. I am wearing pink.
Yeah, it's like a nice light peach.
Yeah.
Anyways,
peach cobbler. Would you like a peach cobbler?
You know what we haven't done in a while is I love you and you're annoying.
And you're annoying.
Yeah.
You got one, don't you?
I do have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, it's actually not new. Hey, babe.
If it's laundry,
it is.
No. We're not having this conversation.
We are having this conversation.
Britt,
because it makes you look so bad.
No, because people get it. Like, I'm not good at laundry. I haven't been good at laundry for 3.5 years.
It's actually not the laundry. It's me. I don't know how to navigate asking you to do something politely and asking for assistance. And then the response is like, no problem. And then it doesn't get done. And then I'm like, can I get some help? And I snap. And then you're like, why are you talking to me like a child? And I'm like, I don't know how, I don't know where the communication is. Like, where's the happy medium where I'm like, I'm
get someone else to do it.
Serious to do your laundry.
Get someone else to do it.
No.
That's the happy medium. We've been having
not.
This conversation for 3.5 years. It's not changing. I don't disrespect you. I'm not rude to you.
I didn't
I'm
say
not
you
mean
were.
to you. This is just something that is not top of mind. And apparently it will never be top of mind for me.
Okay, fine. Then don't.
Maybe when I retire.
Hold on. Then don't say yes. We talk about conditions of satisfaction
Fine, I'll start
all
saying
the
no.
time. I say, can you please do this today?
No.
And you say, yes, no problem. So that's where
You're right.
Communication falls flat.
You're here. You heard it here. What day is this? What day will this podcast launch? The 1st of August? 1st of August? You heard it here first on the 1st of August, 2023. No, I won't do the laundry today. If I do the laundry, when, but we don't have to have this conversation again. I suck at it. I get it. I suck at it. It's not top of mind. It's not a priority for me. There are a million things that I'm juggling. Laundry is clearly not one of them. I walk right past it.
Yeah.
Is that good?
We're great.
It doesn't look like that.
I'm not happy, but I guess doesn't matter.
No, it matters. Let's just get someone to do it because I'm not going to do it.
I'm not getting someone to do your laundry. Like, you can do it on the weekends. That's when I do mine and the kids. So we'll figure that out at a different date, I guess. Yeah. Moving on.
So we watched a TV show, documentary, movie. What is it?
It's a movie.
It was
The Deepest Breath.
Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
What an engaging documentary. They did such an incredible job of building in tension, but you didn't know where the tension was going to go, but you knew it was going somewhere.
I'm like torn between
Don't
whether
tell
I
them.
want to say spoiler alert.
Don't. No.
Okay, I won't.
No.
And then I just tell everyone. Yeah, so we'll just give you the premise. So it is a documentary style movie that has, I think at the beginning it said it's like 90% actual footage. So like interviews with the divers, the friends of the divers, the community. And then there are a couple scenes that are reenactments just at the end. But most of it is live footage. And so it follows 2 people and their interest in like deep diving, free diving. So like not scuba diving,
free
just
diving,
one breath, like deep dives. And it's a sport. I didn't know that it was a sport, but it is a sport.
A very dangerous sport.
Oh my God. So they do fall. So this girl, I should have looked her up. I forget her name.
The whole idea here is there is a woman who is challenging to be the greatest deep diver in the history of deep diving for women.
But she goes,
she's dedicated, she's motivated.
Such natural talent, and then they don't let her compete because she's too young. So then she literally trains her butt off for 4 years And once she's of legal age, she like just kills the game.
Dominates it.
But it is like, man, I have like, I'm claustrophobic. So there's a movie out that's called, it's about caves. Man, I hate it so much. It's the word. Oh, The Descent. That's one of my,
with
it's
the big hole.
literally one of the scariest movies because, and there's like creepy things in that movie, but it's more just like the confinement of the caves that like gave me so much heart. Anyway, I felt the same during this movie because it's weird. It's not like you're claustrophobic because the ocean is so expansive, but it's like that feeling of seeing somebody go so deep. And
like we're talking 100 meters deep, over 300 feet deep.
So there's
no
point
light
where they say, yeah, like it's literally where that fish that has the friggin' flashlight on its head. That's how deep they go because light can't reach it.
It's not that deep, but it is. It is very,
light doesn't
very
reach
deep.
The depths of it. Anyways.
And here's they did such a brilliant job of building it up because you knew that there were two things that from the opening scene.
Yeah.
You knew there was two storylines that were going to eventually connect.
Collide.
And you didn't know how they were, but you knew there was a love interest and you knew there was a passing. You knew it just because of the tempo, the language, how they spoke about things were past tense based. So you knew at some point in time, this was these two powerhouses were going to collide.
Yeah.
They're going to fall in love somewhere. And then something tragic was going to happen. You didn't know what it was, who it was, or when it was.
Yeah.
And they did such an amazing job of building this whole thing up. But I learned so much in that documentary. So most people in deep dive, I did not know this. What I did know is from my lack of scuba diving experience. But what I did know is that when you do scuba dive, you can go down very, very deep with tanks. But as you come up, you've got to pressurize your tank. In the world, like the safety community of the deep dive,
oh, wow, it's incredible.
It does not permit or allow scuba divers to be in part of the rescue.
Right.
Why? Because a scuba diver cannot go up as fast as a free diver can go up.
So the free diving team that helps the free divers, like at the end, there are like positioned, like somebody is at 20 feet, 40 feet, whatever. They are there to help because that's when most accidents and like tragedies happen.
Most accidents happen within the 10 meters from where they are at to the top. Well, and just to be clear, what that is, what happens is unlike scuba diving where you get the bends, your brain, because it runs out of oxygen, your whole body starts to shut down and goes after your major organs. To protect you, it actually shuts your brain off.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
You pass out.
It shuts your brain off.
Yeah.
And so within the last 10, 15 meters, you're seeing divers constantly. Like the whole show is showing people that get like, it's not the bends. They their brain shut
Literally,
off.
it's
their
like
eyes
they're
go
right
back.
before the surface, and then the divers pull them up
by their necks.
To keep the airway open in like a certain way. And then they're literally giving them CPR on the surface because they're just like, it's not like the water is in their lungs. Well, it is, but like they're more concerned about their brain because they're just passed out. Like they're not drowning.
Dead. They're essentially dead.
It's so wild. But what really freaks me out and what is so impressive with these divers is that they have trained and they've done this enough to know, okay, I could probably go whatever. They make a goal of 50 feet. Okay. But that means they need to know that they can hold their breath for double the time, because to get down there is one thing, but then to get back up is another. And I think it's just so crazy to kind of calculate that. It's a guess. It really is a guess, and it's practice however many times you do it. Like, oh, you know what? I'll have to take this big deep breath to get that way. Like, it is beyond insane.
Well, all of the work. So after 30 meters, your body goes into free fall because now you're you're denser than the water.
You just fall.
So after 30 meters of you going down, you got to swim down. But
they call it negative buoyancy.
As soon as you hit 30 meters, you're in free fall, essentially. You're holding onto this rope and you're going down. All of the work, all of the effort is trying to get back up because now you're working against gravity.
But they also have there's a cord, so they follow down like the string because they have to
know where they are at all times. Because just keep in mind, the free diving assistants could never get down to the depths that the free divers can get down to. Yeah. So they don't go down the 100 meters with the free diver. They're ready on the way back up. They're sitting at the surface of the water. They only go down when they can start to see the freediver come back up. Because keep in mind, at a certain depth, you can't see them anymore.
Yeah.
They're black. They're in the abyss.
Well, they're also timing it. So they're like, okay, we should be able to see them by now.
At this point.
And then when you don't, that's when they start to panic and they dive and they figure out like how to get them.
They only have they got a camera. So the whole idea of the sport is whatever the depth is that you state that you're going down to, there is tags that you have to go down. So when you get there, not only do you have to touch that depth, but you actually have to pull a flag off.
Mm-hmm.
So the only visibility that they have once the person enters into the abyss is when they get to the flag.
Yeah.
And then they don't see them again until they get out of the abyss. What happens in there, nobody knows. And
so
this,
scary.
what's so scary about
It
this
actually is making me feel nauseous.
What's so scary about this is they talk about the fact that, like, to Brittany's point, they time it. Okay, so they got the flag. We know they got the flag. Now the clock starts. How long should it take before we should see them?
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes they just never see them again.
I know.
Like,
Well, there was one of the best
the
freediver
most
in the
famous
world.
female freediver of the world just
Disappeared.
never came back
Never
up.
came up. And it's like, if it can happen to the best, it can literally happen to anybody.
And
Anyways.
We're talking depths. We're talking depths that, like, they get to 100 meters, but we're not talking, the ocean's not 100 meters deep at that point. It just keeps going.
I always find
so when they sink, you never, ever, ever will find them again.
What boggles my mind is that there is an entire group of people in the world who this is exciting for them. Like, I'm like, pardon me.
Not me.
Like, it is one of my like biggest fears.
Yeah,
and somebody else is like, yes, this just like, it excites me. I want to do this. I can't put myself in the mindset of somebody who is like, who is that excited to do this and like just dance with death. Like, it's so scary. I can't.
It's like the people who crawl into like little cave spaces.
I honestly, I watched one video on TikTok about this guy who does it, and he has like a GoPro, like an extension or an extension.
An extension, yeah.
It is, and the comments always kill me. Like, everyone in the comments is like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? And they're just so excited. They're like, oh yeah. The one guy is literally digging away in the hole because he can't get through. I'm like, oh my God, are you okay?
And those tunnels, they're essentially like little veins in the mountains, crevices. They all get explored, right? But when you're in them, this one of the most famous guys, I just saw this on Instagram not too long ago, or TikTok not too long ago. He died, unfortunately.
Is it the one that was this way? Like,
and he went the wrong way.
Yeah.
He went the wrong way. And as soon as he went the wrong way, he realized he went the wrong way and couldn't get back. And he was stuck upside down.
Yeah.
And that's
so
not
sad.
good. That's not.
No.
But you know what? We watched a movie.
God,
it was a Jason Statham movie or whatever. I think it was a Jason Statham movie. Maybe it was a Bourne movie where they hung the guy upside down and said, you've got 8 minutes to live because your brain will go to your, like, the blood will go to your brain. 8 minutes, you pass out, and then you're dead. I don't necessarily believe that to be true. And I'll tell you why, because I just watched.
We watched that together, that documentary where like they tried to get him out, but he was stuck. And like, he literally was like, I'm
he's
dying.
Talking to them.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, like,
yeah, like, this is it for me. Like, they couldn't get him out. And so he died, but I thought he lasted like hours.
A long time.
That
and
makes
then
no sense.
I just saw something at an amusement park where one of the rides got stuck upside down. And like, let's say there was like 10 coasters on it. 8 of the 10 coasters, people were legit upside down, and 2 of them, they were just like inconveniently laying down.
Oh my God. I honestly, like, we need to change the subject. Anyways, great documentary. It is absolutely so engaging. It is scary. Like, if you don't like deep dive and like, what's that phobia of the ocean, I wouldn't suggest watching this.
You have that phobia. So we did we were in Turks, Grand Turks, Turks and Caicos.
Grand Turks.
We're in Grand Turks, and Grand Turks has the second or third largest drop off in the world.
Yeah, of the reef. So like, you
which
swim out, and
which
then it
means
drops.
like you're swimming along. You go out from the shallow end of the ocean. You go in from the beach. You start swimming. You get to like depth of 30 feet, 40 feet. And that's where we were. That's where we're snorkeling.
Where we're
and then all of a sudden it drops like 2,000 feet.
And then it goes like, it's like 100, and then it goes to like 2,000. So it is like,
you look at when you're swimming over it, you wouldn't even swim over it.
No.
When you swim over it, it's like you go from tropical reef to black.
Yeah, it's so scary.
And it's like, I know that the depth from me to black is 30 feet.
Yeah.
and I can't see past there. And I know because I've watched enough shark shows.
Yeah.
The shark breach starts well before 30 feet. And so I'm sitting here thinking, at what point in time
were you not scared? Like I was really scared, but I did well.
I wasn't scared for the same reasons that you were scared.
But what do you think that
I thought to myself,
shark.
I felt so small. Yeah. I felt so small and so insignificant.
That's why I was scared.
And truth be told, there was a little part of me that thought, the second I see something come
You're
up,
done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
They're gonna get to me in 30 feet before I can do anything about it.
I wasn't scared because I was like, oh, we're going to be eaten by a shark. Is that a possibility anytime you enter in the ocean? Yes. It was just more the fact that it was so much unknown. It's like the unknown like depth that I'm just like, I can't. There's something in there that we don't know what it is. And it's just like,
I'm going to piss off a lot of flat earthers here.
Okay.
But they say we've explored more of space than we have of our own ocean.
I believe it.
You do.
I do believe it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
And you see these things that go on with in the news not too long ago was the Titanic, obviously. And people are like, well, we should raise the Titanic. I'm like, raise the Titanic. It's 12,000 feet deep.
I just have to tell you something before I forget.
12,000 feet deep. It is 8.5 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of each other just to get to the Titanic.
I know. I fell down a conspiracy TikTok rabbit hole last night, specifically about whether or not we went to the moon. And I know that you're going to be all over this, but I don't want to like fully go into that. And it was so funny because it started at first with Bill Nye the Science Guy. And it was an old clip of him saying like the earth is closed. We are not able to go past the earth. Like it's just closed. We're never going to be able to do it. And like, so he was very much we didn't go to the moon without saying it.
Bill Nye said that?
Yeah. But he said like the earth is closed. We are not able to explore past it. Like it's just with gravity. He has like a mechanical engineering degree. So it was like referring to all of the like questionable things that in NASA with like green screens. And anyway, I went down a complete rabbit hole. But then something was said that really, like, honestly, it might be a very obvious answer. But to me, I was like, huh. So somebody said, tell me why it is our sun, okay, is so fucking hot, right, in our world. But we go up to space and it's freezing. Like, but there are areas closer to the sun that if we were in space, you would think it would be hot. Like what happens from the sun to the earth?
Radiant heat is what happens.
But like, so that doesn't stay in space?
No.
Why? Tell me, explain this. Because I literally was like, it's so true. How come space isn't hot?
It's radiant heat. So radiant heat works like it heats up something.
Okay.
So the earth is hot.
Okay.
Space is not hot. The earth is hot because space is this like massive cavity of just emptiness.
But what if I was in space? And like I would freeze.
Because
that's what you see in the movies.
You would freeze because space is cold.
Yeah, but the sun is there.
Because it's got direct light on something. And
it would be on me.
Yes, I understand that. But it takes time for the light rays to heat things up.
Oh, I don't know.
Earth has had, I don't know, hundreds of billions of years to do it.
I knew there would be some sort of scientific answer, but it got me thinking. I was like, that's so true. Why is space always cold and dark?
The moon would be hot.
No, they say the moon is freezing.
No, the other side of the moon is freezing. But the moon itself would be warm. It'd have to be warm. It's got direct sunlight.
If we've ever been.
But so
I'm not getting into this right now.
Here's my thing about Bill Nye. Is it Bill Nye or Bill Nine?
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye. Bill Nine, the science guy. 8, 7, 6, 5.
Okay.
Anyways, Bill Nye, I was like Team Bill.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years ago, he came out and tried to debunk aliens. And he came out and said...
That surprises me.
He said aliens don't exist. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Bill.
Everything else you say, I don't
believe. I don't care about you anymore.
Yeah,
There's no way, mathematically speaking, that we are the only intelligent life in this entire universe.
Unless we are living in the Truman Show.
The Truman Show.
Yeah, that's fine.
The Trumans.
I want to, anyway, I had to talk about that, but let's get into...
Just so everyone knows, I do not believe, and I am
Here we go.
sold on the idea. I do not believe that a human being has ever been on Earth. Period.
What?
I mean, on the moon. We have never even been. We are artificial. We're sentinels.
I am AI.
We aren't even here.
I'm like, are you okay?
We have never been on the moon.
Okay, and I will say this. I was so anti that conspiracy for so many years, but I would say in the last 2 years, I have watched and learned like multiple things that are really adding up to like that being more plausible than going. Number one being, why haven't we been back? Like you're telling me with all of the technology
We
and the
no
money
longer
today,
have the technology.
like, okay, that makes no sense to me. People are going to be so pissed.
They claim that we had the technology and
no, they say it's money.
No, we had the technology and we got rid of the technology because we believed that if someone outside of the United States of America got their hands on the technology,
that's a total lie.
That it would be a problem. So they obliterated the technology that existed. This is very similar. In Canada, we had an airplane called the Avro Aero. And the Avro Aero, I believe there was 12 of them that were made, was the most advanced super jet on the planet Earth ever made, period.
Okay.
And the United States of America, the president of the United States at the time, convinced the prime minister of Canada that they were moving away from manned jets and going into what we now know as like AI or autonomous vehicles. And that the future of jets were not going to have an actual pilot in them. And so John Diefenbaker, the prime minister of the time, obliterated that program. But that airplane was by far the best airplane ever built to that time.
Okay.
Ever. And they burnt all of the files, how to build it. They disassembled all of the parts. And essentially it was like, here's a box of Lego with no instructions.
Wow.
Good luck.
That's like the
that's what they said. That's what they said they did with NASA.
The death of the electric car. Same thing. I watched that documentary. It was wild. Anyways.
So we should have a whole thing on conspiracy theories.
Let's do it. Wild.
Let's do an episode on conspiracy theories.
I like
because
that.
That's my favorite subject.
And you're very, very intelligent. You, Ryan, if you know anything about Ryan, once somebody has mentioned some sort of conspiracy theory that has at least like something,
impacts.
Yeah, but like also like some truth that you're like, okay, I could potentially see and be open to this. He will then spend the next however many days like educating himself so that he can be aware and educated on this topic because he just wants to know all of the possibilities.
It's not just conspiracy
theories. And you
theories.
have like a really good memory for things. I don't. Like I'll be like, one time I saw this thing, but I do want to say I watched another TikTok and it's this guy basically saying this is a particular, like we want to sue NASA because all of these videos have come out with literally all of the green screen with literally their there's like a video where you can see the guy just like disappear into part of the space station. You can see the harnesses. Like I'm like, what? And I don't know enough about this to be like, did somebody just make these up and say that they're from NASA, or are these like actually videos from NASA? Because I'm like, they can't be that stupid. Like with how amazing AI is today and design and graphics, you're telling me that's what they went with? Like, really? If you're trying to trick the world, you done not good.
All I'm saying is if you do believe that man landed on the moon, just do yourself a favor.
Do some research.
And take a look at the photo of the lander and just ask yourself, do I truly believe that tinfoil can protect these astronauts from the cancerous rays that are in space?
Oh, and they were also like, why are these astronauts like there was a leak in their helmet and they drowned? How do you drown on the moon? Why is there water? And then they're like, is it because they do all of their like no gravity training in water?
Well, they do.
And
NASA does that.
I know that. But then they're saying they drowned when they were out in space. Like
bubbles.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? It's like that. That is like that ad or that TikTok right now. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like that Jennifer Lawrence one? What do you mean? What do you mean?
But what do you mean?
Okay, can we move on? Because this is not the conspiracy episode, but I do want to talk about our live discussion that we've never done on the podcast.
We don't do this.
We don't.
We don't
usually
do this.
have we always have some sort of like talking points that we're going to go through. And we've either already had the conversation like just a little bit so that we can then extend it and have a full conversation on the podcast. But this is something that we haven't talked about. We just want to do it live. And you, for some reason, think that we're going to have an argument. And I'm very like, I don't know why.
I feel an argument is coming. And that's why I'm cautious about this conversation live on a podcast.
What could we be arguing about?
I just think that you and I probably have differences of opinions.
Okay, well, let's hear. Well, I'm very interested.
And I know this to be true because there is current tension between you and I loosely around this subject matter. So, snapshot, last Wednesday, you came to me and you said, hey, the girls want to go to karaoke tonight. I'm going to join them. Now, it's important to know that at that point,
I'd like to join them as well.
I'd like to join them. It's important to know that you forgot that we had previously 2 hours earlier made plans.
Well,
no, you did.
No, let's not.
But it's important that it's important to set that up.
It's important that you set it up correctly because I didn't forget. I wasn't aware that you wanted to podcast as well. I know we had like something that we were doing, but I didn't know we were podcasting. I know that we talked about potentially podcasting. Anyways, continue.
Anyways, that's neither here nor there. My conversation with you, because one thing that we have become very effective at when we are upset is to take that step back, which is the conversation we had last week, to take that step back and recognize what is it that we're experiencing that is actually the problem. You wanting to go out with your girlfriends and have a karaoke night is not a problem for me. But I was resistant as soon as I heard it. Number one, because we had plans, but let's just etch a sketch that and say we didn't have plans and pull that narrative out of this conversation. I didn't want you to go. And the reason I didn't want you to go is because I wanted to spend the night with you. And the reason I wanted to spend the night with you is because the weeks leading up to that, we had not spent a lot of time together. You had a couple of trips planned with your girlfriends, a couple of weekends back to back to back away. I had a weekend prior to that I was away. That Monday I went out. The Tuesday you went out. This was Wednesday. I knew that coming up that we had plans Friday and Saturday. So I knew I wasn't going to see you Friday night or Saturday at all because I was with Cooper and you were with Riley. And I could just unfold the whole week and be like, this is the only night that we're going to be together. And I said to you, rather than being like blah, 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 or angry or talking under my breath, I said, Britt, you're probably not going to like this conversation.
You're just shaking, like the whole thing.
Okay. I said, you're probably not going to like this conversation, which again, not a strong way to start a conversation. If you're in sales, don't ever say, you're probably not going to like this. But however, I said that. And then I proceeded to say, I would rather hang out with you tonight than you go out. And it was not good.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay.
Now this is where we're at. And we haven't talked about it. So I know that there's tension because I still feel tension about this.
Yeah. I mean, at the baseline, like you said, the reason why you didn't want me to go, I agree with. Like we hadn't seen each other. So it was that you missed me. And I understand and I can appreciate that because I was feeling that too. I think a couple things really, really set me off, really turned my tits.
What did Jen say?
Yeah, we forgot we even said it really dented my dick.
Dented my dick.
Yeah, this really twisted my tits, I think is what I said.
Twisted my tits and dented my dick?
Yeah. Was the night prior, you had told me, because you forgot that.
No, the night prior you went for a walk. You were gone the night prior.
Sorry.
2 nights, the Monday.
It doesn't matter. I went no, it doesn't. It's exercise and health. And I went for a walk and you go for your stuff in the morning and I'm with the kids. So that doesn't count. If I'm walking, I'm still looking after the kids. Like I'm still home and we get up. Like it's not the same.
Oh,
you can't compare when I choose to do my workouts or my health with you, like with actually not being home. That's not fair because I don't do that to you. So like, let's remove that.
Well, you don't do that to me because I wake up at 5:30 in the morning and do my thing before you wake up.
And you couldn't do that if I wasn't home. So what I'm saying is I have to be here if you want to do that. If you want to get up and go to the gym, I have to be home. Correct?
Do you want to flip it so that I can work out at night?
No, I'm just letting you know.
I'm just checking because I would love that.
The whole idea is that I need to be on board with your schedule and I don't make a fuss about it because that's when you're going and I'm home.
And
so
sleeping,
whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you kidding right now?
Go ahead.
So anyways, remove the walk. So you tell me two hours that, oh yeah, Josh wants to go golfing. I'm like, okay. And then we get busy and then I text you and I'm like, are you going? And you're like, I'd like to. And I said, okay, so you go golfing. And what pissed me off is that I had nothing, like no problem, you can go. And because for me, you don't actually go out a lot, that I was like, you know what? Like Ryan needs this. It's great. And I feel like I was being penalized because I do have more of a social life. And the reaction and my reaction was in defense because what you started with was, like you said, not a good thing to say. And I had come downstairs after we had that little blow up and I said, when you said to me, you're not going to like this, I'm immediately going to put my back up. That is exactly when someone says to you, no offense, but. So had you had said, Rye, babe, honestly, I'd love if we could just hang out tonight. Like if that's something that we can do, like I thought that we could do this, this, and this. I would have been like, you know what? Yeah. Like, and you would have been like, I'm not going to see you here. We've been away. And if you would have met me at like empathy and like kindness instead of judgment, we wouldn't even had that conversation. And then I came downstairs and was like, you know that that's not something powerful to set up the sentence. And then you were like, I fucking do this for a living. I know not to say that. And I was like, well, you clearly aren't fucking preaching or practicing what you preach. Like I was so angry because it was a double standard. I gave you the same courtesy 2 nights prior. And then you also threw in my work trip as like, oh, you've been going out. I went to Montreal for work. You went to Vegas for work. And then I had 2 separate trips. The one was planned 3 months ago. It just happened to be in the time where we were away a lot. That's not fair.
All I was saying was you were gone for 4 days. Then you came back. You were gone that Friday evening. The following week, you were gone Friday and Saturday. The following week, you were gone Friday, Saturday, and came back late Sunday.
And you were gone.
And now this was. You
were gone in between there.
And then you were gone Tuesday night, and then you wanted to go out Wednesday night.
I wasn't gone Tuesday. I went for a walk.
Well, you were gone. So when I finished work, I took the kids. You went for a walk. By the time you came back, the kids were going to bed. The night was over. All I'm getting at
I also had the busiest Tuesday. I was running around, literally driving everywhere.
All I'm getting at was, and this is what I was saying to you, and just to be very clear, I am not the type of person. And this, I hate this word, but I'm going to use it. I'm not a little bitch. I'm not the type of person to be like, wah, 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 why me, miss me, I love you, like hold me, hug me. I'm not like that. So when I'm feeling that way and I'm feeling the disconnection between you and I take it upon myself to be like, I'm going to expose something that I'm not even really proud of, but it is how I'm feeling. I apologize that I used the wrong opening sentence for it.
Well, it just set up the whole conversation.
Hold on a second. When you talk about empathy, had I presented empathy, you would have responded differently. Had you been empathetic to what I was saying, which is I miss you and I want to hang out with you.
That's not what you said though.
That's exactly what I said.
You said you're not going to like this, but you go out a lot.
No, I didn't say that at all. I said, Britt, I miss you and I want to hang out with you tonight. Is what I said to you.
Because why
That's exactly what I said to you.
Not,
and you
Ryan.
Immediately went after me about Monday golf.
Why would you say?
And I'm like, whoa. Because I came at you.
That's not right.
That's exactly what it is.
Why would you say you're not going to like this?
You're not going to like this.
But I want to hang out with you. That makes no sense.
Because I said, I don't want you to go out tonight. I want to hang out with you.
Okay. You're saying that's exactly what I said.
Brittany, what I'm saying is this. You talk about empathy.
This podcast is so annoying. Everyone's going to be like,
no,
why
but
are
it's
we
perfect.
listening to them?
It's perfect. And I'll tell you why it's perfect. Because this is something that couples either have too little of or too much of. And that is time away from each other. I don't have the social life that you have. I work a lot. And when I'm finished work, I choose, it's a choice to spend my time with the kids and with you. You work a lot and you spend a lot of time with us and the kids, and you have a much greater social life.
And that's something that is very important to me. You have told me you don't need to do that. And I'm like, that's totally fine. I do. And you're right. You respect that. But it was how you positioned it. And Rye, like, I'm sorry. If you would have been like, you're not going to like this, but I want to hang out with you, I'd be like, why wouldn't I like that? But it was, you're not going to like this. You go out too much. I just want to hang out with you.
Never said that to you.
There would be no
I never said
reason.
That to you.
Okay, you're not going to like this, but I don't want you to go out. All you could have said was, Right. Or all you could have said was, Britt, I want to hang out with you tonight. You talk about meeting you with empathy. Don't set me up to be in a defensive position.
I get it.
Now,
I totally get it.
But then you threw that back in my face when I mentioned
totally
it to you.
get it. But what I'm getting at is rather than recognizing what I said,
words. That's what you do to me.
Rather than recognizing what I said, you took the position in which I said it. We separated ourselves because I'm like, I'm not having this conversation with you. I just exposed the fact that I miss you and would rather spend time with you. And you throw it back in my face like, I'm done. Go have fun. Enjoy your karaoke.
Oh, by the way, I didn't go.
On a prayer. Go fuck yourself. That's what I was feeling. So I went downstairs. And about 10 minutes later, you came downstairs.
That was so uncalled for.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's how I was thinking in my head. I'm not thinking it now.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking in my head at the time. So I came downstairs. I went back to work. And in that 10-minute period of time, you chose to sit with what I said to you rather than what I was saying to you. And then you came downstairs and rather than saying, Rye, because I'll put it back in your face, rather than coming back and saying, hey, Rye, like, I understand that we want to spend time together. I can appreciate that I've been gone for a while, blah, 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 blah. Maybe we can do this or this or this.
Yeah.
You could have done that. Instead, you were like, you suck at communicating. You brought this up and you had that. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, Miss Nelly.
I just think it's ridiculous that you're
conversation.
expecting me to come back with you. Like, if you're giving me energy, I'm going to match that energy. And it sucks. It's toxic. But if I have to do better at like de-escalating my emotions, but most people will match the energy that you give. And I'm like twofold. So if you're giving me attitude about something like your initial statement, you're not going to like this. I will.
You're goddamn right. I'm not going to like it, and neither are you.
I am going to give you that same energy back to you. So you can't expect me to come to you with empathy. You're like, well, you should see that I want to miss you. Then just come with me and say, Britt, I miss you. Like, we don't need the other bullshit. If that's what you're feeling and you're like, well, I don't want to expose it. I love that. Hey, babe, I miss you. Can we do something tonight? For sure. And what the fuck did I do last week? So I could say that I missed you too. I got a babysitter. I planned a date night. Yeah. And I did that. And I've had this conversation with you that you don't do that. You just expect me to do that. Correct?
Well,
we need a date night. We need to do stuff.
Party planner with the social life.
This is your like, I'm going to be sarcastic. I don't know what to say. No, I do that because I'm planning that. So you should do those things.
Fine, I will.
Don't expect me to come at you with empathy if you're coming at me and already putting me in a defensive position. All you could have said was, I honestly be like, I'd love to just hang out you and I tonight. Okay. There are the facts. That's it. There's your emotions. There's the facts. I would have been like, got it. But instead, you were positioning up for a fight because you felt threatened. You felt you didn't want to be weak, whatever. Anyways, you knew that wasn't going to end. Okay, a conversation.
And I recognized that what my request was about to be was something that because you'd stated you wanted to do this. And my request was going to be that you don't do that and then have a conversation about why you don't. So I had to position it in a way like, I'm not trying to have a fight with you here.
Yeah, but don't do that. That's not like...
Well, I won't. Moving forward, I'm just going to say what I want to say.
Yes. Hey.
And you're going to like it or not.
All you would have had to have said was be honestly like, is it okay that you and I hang out instead? Like, you don't have to say, I don't want you to go. You're not going to like this, but I don't want you to go. Like, it wasn't good.
I will never make that mistake again. And trust me. I'm just going to tell you.
Can I also request when I come downstairs and I say, hey, you positioned me in a place where I felt very defensive. This is literally what you teach. You used to do sales training. You used to do that. Never set up the conversation in a way. Don't throw that back in my face and gaslight me because I was literally like, this is what you say. I know that's what I do. I do this for a living. I fucking know that it's not great. And then I was like, okay. And then I left because I'm like,
bye, Felicia.
Because you knew that I was right, but you didn't know what to say. You're just like, fuck you, I'm going to mock you and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because I knew you were right. And let's be clear. You knew that I knew you were right. You didn't need to say it to me.
Yes, I did.
You didn't need to.
Yes,
you could have
had
a conversation with me and we could have fixed the actual problem as opposed to making
just
the
don't
words
gaslight
that I
me
said
when I come to you and I say this was an issue for me. That's my reaction.
Anyways, if you and your partner are having this conversation, and I have a feeling that we're not alone here, there is an opportunity for you guys to discuss what is too much and what is not enough, because you and your partner need to have a life outside of your family. You need to have a life outside of your partnership. Otherwise, at some point in time, something could happen and you're just sitting there by yourself. And that's a bad feeling. That's where I was talking about a couple of weeks ago. This is where the midlife crisis comes into play. You need a social life. I am adamantly all for you having a social life. But at some point in time, if I'm missing you,
totally,
then you also need family life. And for me, I would say that family life versus social life, family is a higher, I'm not saying this isn't a priority for you.
Okay, good.
It's a higher priority as in terms of time, where yours might be a nice little balance. I don't have that balance and I don't need that balance. And so when I see you so far on the other side, I'm like, I can't help but think, does she not want to hang out with us?
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I think that for me, it's hard because I find that I'm more understanding with like, yes, you're working, but you have a lot of late night, like you'll go golfing at night and it's with a client.
Clients.
It doesn't matter. You have a late night meeting, whatever
Clients.
it is, but it's also friendships. It doesn't matter. You're still taking time away. You're not home. So I'm like, okay, Ryan went out 3 nights last week and I accommodated and I figured it out. I'm going to go and go out for a walk, or I had whatever it is. I'm just saying,
nights.
Babe, there has been nights where you're like, shit, I forgot I had this late night meeting. I have to go here. Oh, fuck, I forgot that it happens all the time. And I am really, really good at being like, okay, no worries. I'll figure it out. Like, when have I ever
May
not
I just
been
say
able
this?
to
You're
do
absolutely
that?
right. You are 100% right. We're going to wrap this podcast up in a minute. You are 100% right. I am very appreciative of those things that you do. However, I will say this. I don't think that you would be as understanding of this if all of those times I went out were not for work.
But right.
They were directly impacting our family's financial situation. So it's easy to say, yeah, Ryan's gone for work. If my social life, if that was me just hanging out with my friends, I think you would have a problem with it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I have said this to you so many times. Babe, why don't you go see if this person wants to have a beverage? Why don't you go hang out with this? Do you want me to literally book a indoor golfing for you, this person? That, like, I have been so,
you are
like your biggest cheerleader of being like, you need to get out more. You work a lot. You are stressed out. You need a reprieve. I can be that person, but you also need like somebody else as well. Like, you deserve to get out of the house, and we can't always get a sitter. So I'm always advocating for you to go out. And had you had gone out 4 days, 3, whatever, and it was all social, yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck? But if it's a balance and I'm always encouraging you to go out, I wouldn't have a problem, because I am the person who is like, go. And I think part of it is like, because I really do like appreciate the friendships in my life. I love the women, my close-knit friends. I love them, and they're very important to me. And I will make sure that we have times that I get to see them, and we're doing that in our lives. And I do think it's important, like you said, for both people to have a space outside of being a parent, outside of your job. And you right now are in a chapter where you're not prioritizing that because you have so much going on. All I'm saying is that I think that I wouldn't have I don't think I'd have a problem with it, because I'm constantly encouraging you to go out.
I'll say this. If I went out,
and it's not every week.
If I went out as much as you go out with my schedule, because I can't do it during the day, right? You do have the ability to meet your friends for coffee and stuff during the day, or do your nails during the day, or whatever during the day. I don't. If I went out and saw my friends,
I'm also watching the children and working at the same time.
If I went out as often as you go out, and I hung out with my friends as often as you hung out with your friends, we wouldn't see each other.
If you went out,
wouldn't.
But this is not true, because we went back and we used to do this every other Thursday thing.
Other Thursday.
Which was brilliant.
Awesome.
And I would love to go back to that. And like, I think that you should do that as well.
Then you're going to struggle.
How?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every other Thursday, Friday.
You're so full of shit. I do not go out that much. Like,
hey guys, I know it's been a long time since I saw you, but now I only get every other Thursday.
And you're forgetting also that like I'm doing my job and I'm being a mom at the same time.
I don't forget it at all.
Well, maybe I need extra social time because I'm so stressed out and I'm fucking twitching for 3 weeks. Ever thought of that?
No.
Anyways, we gotta go.
I haven't.
To sum it up, make sure you have a life separate from your spouse
but
and your
not
family.
Too much of a life. Later.
Bye.
Aside from my soul.